Hello there guys, it's me Unstable Voltage and welcome back to Civilization 5 Brave New World Edition, playing as Germany and hopefully heading towards a cultural victory. Just one quick note before I start. If you remember on the last video, I was having a little bit of confusion about these bananas because they were producing 2 science and I could not work out why. And then I remembered it's actually from the university. If you have a university in a city, one of the things that it provides you with, when I can find it, there it is, the university 2 science from all jungle tiles worked by this city. Also allows archaeologists to be built in the city as well. Now, we don't have archaeology yet, so that's not really an issue. But that's the reason that I'm getting 2 science from this tile. Now, I could build a plantation there. If I were to build a plantation, I would get additional food for working the bananas, but we'd also be removing the jungle. So we'd gain the same amount of food from the plantation as we would lose from the jungle, so therefore we'd break even. We would gain an extra 1 production per turn from the plantation, but I'd lose 2 science, so it's really not worth it. I'm not going to improve that tile. It's still providing 4 food and 2 science, just as it is, and for me, that is great. So now that's out of the way, let's get on to the next turn. Now, it was my original plan to try and get the East India Company built first, because I could really do with the additional income. However, as far as I'm aware, and as far as I can remember, the East India Company isn't a one-time wonder. I believe everyone can build it. And Oxford University is something that I would very, very much like to get. So I am going to try, if possible, to get Oxford University straight the way. Can't purchase wonders, that's why it's not appearing in that list. So I still need a university in Cologne. That's the only one that I'm waiting for, and that's the most important thing for me at the moment. Let's have a look at Cologne, which I believe is this city up here. Now, we don't even have a library yet, so let's go ahead and build the library. Now, we should be able to now get a university. So it's either 660 gold or we can try and produce it, but we don't have a lot of speed here at Cologne. So we have the workers here. I moved them from the bananas. I said we'll build a mine here because it will give us an extra 1 production from this tile. And the workers have now built a farm here. I'm not too sure what I want to do about this city, whether or not I actually want to keep it. I can't say that it's actually providing me with all that much. It doesn't really make it worth it. They are working the fish tile. I think what I may do is get another workboat down here and upgrade that tile. In the meantime, I will get these guys just to build a mine over here, just to give us some options. So let's go on to the next turn. Obviously, I can't specify which tiles the AI is going to work because I don't have direct control over this city, with it being a puppet. But it will tend to favour tiles that have got upgrades and give it higher sort of output. So again, it's not even working the gold tile, I don't think, at the moment, which is a bit of a shame. But we still get the gold. Progressive people, that is us. If we actually look at happiness, yep, right at the top there, +4 from gold, so I'm definitely getting that. But let's just view the city again. Oh, they are working it now. They weren't working the gold tile before, but now it's been improved. They actually are. But even if they weren't working it, I'd still be able to get the gold from that. So I think what we're going to do here is we're going to go ahead and build a mine, just so it can produce things a little bit quicker. Trading posts may have been better, but can't guarantee they're going to work it anyway. Munich has now finished. There's not really an awful lot here that I want to do. I could potentially build an extra unit or 2 just to give us a bit of defense. Oh, wow. When did that happen? When did the Japanese actually set up a city right there, which is the last place I actually wanted them to settle a city? We are definitely going to have to take that out, unfortunately. So, looks like we're going to be going to war with Japan again. We now need to start building a few units. That is an absolutely horrendous place for me, for him to be. That cannot be permitted at all, ever. So we're going to deal with that as soon as possible. Berlin is also... Right, I mean, Berlin can't actually really get any units down there because we can't get through Grand River, which is a bit of a pain. Can't even really go for a naval attack, so not an awful lot I can do here. I could build the National College, but again, I want to save that for... imagine we've got 37 science here. How much science do I actually have at Hamburg? 30, so it's not too far behind, and it will improve as time goes on. So let's just go back to Berlin. What are we going to build here? I think we still don't have any ocean tiles that we're working. So there's not an awful lot of useful stuff. I'm going to produce another workboat, and I'll send that other workboat down here, and we can improve this tile, because workboats actually travel quite fast. I've already built one already. There's one there sitting in Cologne. And the reason I built that one was I wanted to go and improve this tile. As you can see, it's only 3 turns to get there. Actually quite quick. So, units need orders. Those workers have finished improving the wheat. So what I want to do now is really avoid trying to take down any of the sort of jungle or forest tiles if I can help it. But what I can do is I can now build trading posts. And trading posts will give me 1 extra gold per turn, and it doesn't actually affect the jungle, forest or jungle tiles, which is brilliant. So we're going to go on to the next turn. I can't believe Japan actually settled there. I didn't even see the city pop up. I just happened to see the red outline and thought, where did that come from? Now, luckily, he doesn't actually have anything he can really defend it with. He doesn't have any units there, not yet anyway. I've got a few units around, so hopefully I can deal with him fairly easily. I've got enough faith now to purchase a unit or 2. I don't think I'm going to bother, at least not initially. We'll save that. We'll save that up. We do have a great artist now. As you can see, we don't have any great work slots for art again, so I really need to get an artist guild up as soon as possible. But we don't actually have the artist guild yet, I don't think. Or do we? Do we have the artist guild? We do have an artist guild. Obviously, all of our great works of art slots are filled. But for the meantime, I'm just going to pop him and start another golden age because it is a big boost anyway. But I really don't... I really need to stop wasting great people and actually start being able to use them more effectively. Now, I don't think 1 catapult is going to be enough to take out Tokyo. I mean, it is... Oh, camera's going funny. Open borders with the Incans. Don't have an issue with that. Like I said, Japan is a very new city, and it has only 1 population, and it has a very, very low... very, very low defense. So I should be able to take it out relatively easy. Now we have a spy. Now the question is, what do we do with the spy? Now, there are 3 options really you can do with a spy. You can either send them to one of your own cities for counterintelligence, which helps to stop other people stealing technology from you. If they've got a spy in one of your cities trying to steal from you, and you have a counter spy, you have a chance of actually stopping their spy in the act and killing them, and they lose a spy. They do regenerate over time, but it's an inconvenience. This little potential column here actually shows you what the potential is of the science output from your city. So as you can see, Berlin, being my biggest science output city currently, has the most potential, which means if somebody wanted to steal science from me, putting a spy in Berlin would be better because they would be able to steal a technology more quickly because the city outputs technology more quickly. Hamburg is close behind it, as you can see, and my smaller cities, well, there's nothing there really at all. I could also move my spy to one of the city-states. Now that allows me to rig the elections and eventually stage coups, which is a way to get city-states to become your friend and become your ally and to stop them being allies with other people. And you can also send your spies into other civilizations in an attempt to steal technology from them. Or you can send them in as a diplomat, so you can just basically keep your eye on them and see what they are doing. Now, I am a little bit behind in the technologies. If we just go back and look at the demographics, and we look at literacy, we can see that Rome is actually the furthest ahead. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move my spy, and I'm going to put my spy in Rome as a spy. Only spies can steal technology, diplomats can't. Once we get World Congress, we'll be able to also determine their proposals, so we can actually trade for their votes on some things. Later on, when we get ideologies, if we have different ideologies, they conduct propaganda and give us a boost to tourism. So spies are actually quite useful. But for the meantime, we're just going to do that. Hopefully we can steal a technology or two. We can actually now research another technology. This is probably the sort of time that we should be going for compass and astronomy. But I think what I need to do now, because I'm quite far behind with engineering and I am working... I need to get to machinery. No, I don't. I need to get to physics because I want to be able to build the trebuchet. The trebuchet is going to be much more useful for assaulting cities. Berlin has now finished with that workboat. And we're going to get straight on and build the Opera House, which will give us a great work slot. And this workboat, hopefully we're going to get it down here without it being attacked by too many things. That's going to take 15 turns. That's quite a bit of time, but that city's just ticking away doing nothing really, so I'm not too concerned about that really. Now, one potential advantage I do have with trying to get Tokyo, if I'm fast enough, and in fact, what I can probably do, and what I probably should do, and fingers crossed it doesn't happen on this turn, because if it does I'm going to be so mad. Well, it won't matter anyway once I take the city. So, okay, we've got engineering straight away. Now, what are you doing? Okay, this workboat is here, so that's going to create a fishing boat, which will give us some extra output from this city. It's still going to take a long time before it can do anything. Need to get some workers over here and get this silver hooked up. What I want to do here, 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah. What I'm going to do is buy a tile, and I'm going to buy... Actually going to buy both of those tiles. Now, there's 2 reasons for that. 3 reasons, in fact. First of all, it stops them from being able to expand, which I don't want them to be able to do. Secondly, it means he's not going to be able to nab those spices, because if you actually look at all the hexes around him, the only 2 useful hexes is the fish and the spices. And you can guarantee his next border expansion would have been into that hex there. What this also means is I can actually move trebuchets within 2 hexes of Tokyo on without having to go to war. So I can actually get within bombard range, set them up, and then declare war and get 2 free hits before we can even react. And that is exactly what I plan to do. Normally, by the time you come to attack a city, their borders are already 2 hexes wide, which means you can't actually get close enough without moving into their territory. Which means you've got to declare war before you can actually set up your siege equipment. So this should work out quite nicely. I do want to build a second trebuchet. We're also going to need a melee unit to actually capture the city. Not decided yet whether or not I will want to keep it, or whether I will just want to raise it. I may well raise it. It's not in a particularly useful spot. I just didn't want it there because it's now blocking my access across here. The only thing I wanted here really was the spices anyway. But I can't allow it to stay here. It's just in a terrible, terrible position. And again, this is always the problem that you have with these type of maps, is that the building space is so small that people will hop from island to expand. So we've still got that faith purchase, but I'm not worried about that. We can now build at Munich. We're going to build another catapult for the time being. And this catapult is going to move here. It'll take a few turns to get there because it's got to go through jungles and stuff. Okay, those workers are now finished with that mine. So what should we build next? I mean, we could go for more trading posts. We've got forests here. What would be the most useful thing for us to take, really? Not an awful lot of stuff. I think what we'll do is we'll move up here and we'll build another trading post. Let's get some gold coming in. We could really do with that. I'm still really hoping and praying that nobody can beat me to Oxford University. I did sort of rush down the path to get that, so I think I'm far enough ahead to be able to get that before anybody else. That's why I've missed out some of the earlier texts, but I need to get that university up and running in Cologne as soon as possible, or someone is going to beat me to it, which won't be the end of the world. So, Caesar is plotting against Dido. Obviously, I found that out because I have a spy there. So, what I will actually do... is speak to Dido and share the intrigue with her. So that means I'm actually telling her that the Romans are plotting against her. And that actually gives us a bit of extra friendship between us. The fact that, as you can see on, I don't know why I'm pointing at the screen because you can't see where I'm pointing, the fourth option down, you have shared intrigue with your spies uncovered with them. So that helps to get you a little bit more solidity in the friendship. Berlin has now finished its opera house. Everything is just being done so quickly here. It's tempting to... Actually, we should be doing these other wonders. I was going to say that it would be tempting to build the National College here, but I think what we're going to do is go for the Sistine Chapel, because it'll give us an extra 25% culture in all of our cities, and contains 2 slots for great works of art, which we so desperately need. We also have a university here, which we are not currently working, which we probably could do, which would give us some additional science. It would also give us faster growth towards a great scientist. But I've got a lot of tiles here that already aren't being worked, so we're going to go for... and 12 turns to produce a Sistine Chapel. If we go to production focus, we'll get that down to 11 turns. So that's what we're going to do. So, nobody in the university at the moment, so we're not quite getting the maximum science bonus that we could be getting, which is a little bit of a shame. Now, I think these workers now have pretty much done everything down here that's useful to them. So, what I'm going to do, and this is probably going to take a very long time. How long would it take them to get up here? 20-something turns, which is quite ridiculous, really. So, what I might do is bring them back to my own territory and then use one of these workers and move those up to Cologne, because these guys are a little bit closer. And I've already got most of my stuff here upgraded, so I will go and nab those horses as quickly as possible. Again, it's outside of the 3 hex radius, but I'll still be able to get the horses if I build stables there. So a unit needs orders, which is these workers here. It's recommending me to build a lumber mill for production. Kind of tempted to build the trading post for the gold. Obviously, I get 2 gold from this trading post as opposed to the 1 gold I got from the other one somewhere else, wherever it was, because this city's obviously got something here that's giving me a bonus to it. So what do I go? 1 production or 2 gold? I think I'm going to go for the 2 gold. Okay, I've got a workboat here that is a little bit trapped. Can't actually get where it wants to go. So we're going to carry on down here. Now we can see we've got some Japanese units here coming in from the north, which I'm not particularly happy about. He's bringing a lot of units across here. He may actually be plotting against me, which I dislike, but hopefully I can take him before he takes me. We'll see how that goes. I'm just going to end up getting myself a massive warmonger penalty, and nobody's going to want to trade with me or open borders or anything like that, which is very annoying, but I just have to see what I can do. As we already know, the Japanese units are actually quite fearsome within combat, because even when they're injured, they still fight as if they were fully healed, which is not a good thing. Also, I guess we probably can't get around here anymore because of Tokyo's borders. So that's probably the reason why that boat stopped moving. So we're going to set the catapult up for a ranged attack. But we're not going to do anything else on this turn. We're just going to skip the turn there. We'll get our second catapult into place. And then I'm going to start bringing these ranged units down as well. Now, I'm not sure if the Japanese have open borders with the Iroquois. It's possible that they do. So they could actually come through his borders and attack me from the north. But I still think I'll be able to get Tokyo first. So we've met another city-state. Another discovery or 2, and we're now working on to physics. I should have waited, really. I mean, I will be able to upgrade my catapults to trebuchets, because they will be within my borders, so that's fine. So let's go right ahead and get the National College built here. We'll start getting this science sorted out. I'm just going to put you to sleep for the time being, just so you don't ask me every single turn what you need to do. This caravan is going to go to Singapore now, because Singapore is actually giving us more gold per turn. I think we're certainly going to need it the way things are going. Now, yeah, we can't actually get this fishing boat where we wanted it to go now, because it has the problem of being stuck behind Japan's borders. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start moving these units forward, just so that we can bombard Tokyo with a little more ease. Just going to put that fishing boat there. We might lose it, but they only take a turn or two to build, so it's not the end of the world if we do. It's just very, very annoying, really. So, let's see what happens. We've still got a few Japanese boats around. Got to be careful. I mean, they could do me some damage. I don't actually have any defences down here, which looks like Malacca's having a bit of trouble there, maybe with barbarians or somebody else. If the Japanese want to take this city, let them. I'm not all that bothered about it, to be honest. It is giving me gold, which is nice. Don't get me wrong. I'm happy that it is. Fortunately, I can't actually upgrade any of these guys, which is a little bit of a shame. They are a little bit too far out of my territory to be able to do anything about that. Munich has now finished its catapult, so what it is going to do in the meantime is produce a swordsman. Should be useful enough. We're going to take this catapult. We're going to move it into the spices there. Also, as well, I've got some workers here, and I think they might actually be on sleep, because I don't think they're currently doing anything. So I'm going to get them to go here and start building this this plantation as soon as possible. Those guys are going to stay there until we're ready to attack, which will be a couple of turns away. You can sleep. Let's go on to the next turn. So now we're just preparing to try and take out Tokyo. I mean, I could probably survive and carry on and get the victory type that I want, but it's I've already been to war with Japan once, and I've now got two different civs that I've both been to war with, and they both share a city on my my continent, which I really don't want. So we've discovered a barbarian encampment, but they're miles away and not really an issue to us. We have ourselves a great writer, and we do have a great work slot, so we're going to hit that straight away, and puts us up from 8 to 10 tourism. Let's just check how we're going on with... I just clicked the wrong button. It's amazing. I think the icons should be a little different to that, because it's a culture icon. So we've still got a couple of spaces left for great writing. We do have a slot for a piece of great music. And if we look towards the cultural victory, we still have the most culture output, which is absolutely... well, the most tourism output, which is absolutely fine by me. You guys can't really do an awful lot, so you're just going to stay there out of the way until you get an opportunity to maybe take Tokyo. You guys are going to start building a plantation. You guys are going to move forward. Now, they won't be able to set up to attack until the next turn, but that is fine. Okay, the workers have finished there, so let's go there, and we can have another trading post. So let's go on to the next turn. I was going to go up to send some of the workers up to the north, up to Cologne, and start building up there, but got to be careful because we don't know how many Japanese boats are in the water. They do seem to have quite a lot of their units mobile in the seas. So it's just the city-states doing all their stuff. Then the barbarians' turn, and they're attacking my trireme, which is hardly unexpected. Okay, you guys, I would prefer... Still think I'd like a trading post, to be honest. Unit needs orders. You just carry on and discover as much as you can before you get destroyed. There we can see we have some Roman legions, which is the Roman unique unit. They're an upgrade to one of the melee units. I think they're an upgraded swordsman. But the main difference with the legions is the legions can actually build roads. So it's quite a nice little unit. I have played as Rome once, only once, and I had legions but never built a road, which is stupid really, because all you have to do is build one road with a legion and you get a steam achievement, and I never bothered doing it. But I must remember, I'm sure I'll play Rome again sometimes. They are quite a interesting culture. So there we go. We have our two catapults up, and they are in a position to attack Tokyo, and that's exactly what we are going to do. We do have a trade route currently with Kyoto, which we could, well, we'll probably end up losing, but it needs to be done. I cannot have Tokyo sat there. It's just too close to my borders. So as you can see, we're bombarding, so we're not actually taking any damage from it. Now, that means he can't shoot back. Obviously, on his turn, he gets one shot at one of my units, but he's only going to be able to take one thing out. We'll see what he chooses to go for. I'm going to go straight for next turn. I am producing a swordsman as a backup to try and capture it with a melee unit if he should manage to take these brutes out. But it's because it's such a small city. As you can see, it's recovered a little bit of its health. Is now attacking my catapult, which does some damage to my catapult, so that catapult will not do as much damage in return fire this time around. However, it is still going to fire back. Munich demands Wales. So we still did a relatively good chunk of damage there. And another good chunk of damage. And already, as you can see, with just 2 siege units and an archers, in 2 turns we've got it down to nothing. The only problem I'm going to have is actually getting a melee unit close enough to be able to capture the city. If I put him in the water, he's probably going to get taken out. So I'm going to have to do a little bit of unit shuffling on the next turn. Probably going to lose a catapult here, but I've only built them literally for this this issue of Tokyo being here. Need to keep my eye on the minimap a little bit more, actually, and just watch what he's doing. He didn't manage to destroy that catapult. Obviously, my worker's safe while there's a unit on top of it. He hasn't got anything he could use to capture the worker, but he could bombard it directly and kill it if he chose to. I do have a unit promotion, so I'm instantly going to heal that catapult and give it some health back. I have my swordsman here, which I'm going to move forwards. I'm not going to bother with the archers. I'm going to swap positions, as I mentioned before. Now, I can't get to it on this turn. It does have to go through some rough terrain, but I'm going to keep the pressure on. There isn't really that much point damaging it beyond 0 because I will still be able to take it, but every little bit helps. I think what we're going to do is get a workshop down here in Munich. That will give us much better production speed. These guys are going to stay here, and we're going to go on to the next turn. I think I am going to raise Tokyo because it doesn't really give me any benefits, and it's just kind of in the way. I just want it gone. That's the thing. Japan wasn't that big of a threat. I mean, he is the bottom of the scoreboard, but his units are nasty enough to deal me some damage, which I want to try and avoid. I am going to move these archers forward one and use them to attack his archers out there in the water. Now, it's a bombard again. They can't return fire. You also need a promotion, which I can't remember what it's called, but there is a promotion that you can give a unit that allows it to actually return fire if it's being attacked in the water, but most of the time melee units when they're in the water are sitting ducks, as he is there. Going to continue the bombard on Tokyo. Sadly won't be able to get close enough this turn because we're moving into a marsh, which puts us out of movement, but I've now got 2 melee units next to him. He can only take 1 of them out, and then he's stuffed basically. We can adopt a policy. We're going to continue with exploration. We are going to have +3 production in all coastal cities, because most of our cities are coastal, which is the advantage of these archipelago maps. And the catapult, you might as well just rest up this turn, as you actually haven't made a move. You don't need to. So let's just see how this turn plays out, see if we can get Tokyo off the map, and that will probably be me wrapping this video up. Caesar wants to give me gold and open his borders for salt, which is fine because that's a deal we already had going, if I remember correctly. Japan attacks the melee units, which I fully expected. Now, he has now put a unit into Tokyo, which does give it a little bit more defensive power. Unfortunately, it's too little too late, and that's not going to help him out. So we are going to... Right, where are we? This is in grassland, so we're going to give accuracy to the catapult, which means it does more damage in open terrain. We're going to fire at Tokyo, which should be enough to take its health down to 0. And then we are going to attack with the swordsman, which should be enough to cap it. And it does. And we want to raise the city. Now, it says you receive a major warmonger penalty if you capture the city. I think we've already technically captured it, but we're going to raise the city. I don't want to keep it anyway. You can see my happiness has now gone down to 1, but as soon as this is raised, and it's not going to take long because it only had a population of 2 to begin with, and it's already gone down to 1 on this turn. Everybody else is going to heal up. Okay, where do we go for in the technology tree? Globe Theatre might be good because we could get writing slots. That would be useful. And machinery is always nice because we can get crossbowmen and faster movement on the road. So I think actually, I'm going to go compass first because compass only has 4 turns. Then we're going to go for printing press. So let's get that all queued up. Cologne has finally finished whatever it was building, which took it forever. It's going to take 40 turns to build a university, so I'm not going to wait around for that to happen. So what I think we will go for here next, I'm actually going to produce a worker. It's probably quicker to build a worker up here than it is to actually wait for one to get there. And I will then just save up the money and buy a university as soon as we can. These guys are all just going to sit around and do nothing. He does have these guys over here, of course, that I need to keep an eye on. I can now move this fishing boat and actually start to move it back to where I wanted it. These guys, I'm going to move... I'm going to keep them on the hill, actually, just for a better field of view. And then if he tries to move those units down, because don't forget, we are still at war with Japan, so it might be a little while before we can go to peace with them. Not sure how many cities he's got left now. He's obviously not going to be very, very happy. Once again, China want to give me 1 gold per turn to open my borders. No. If you want to open your borders as well... She obviously really wants me to open my borders because every other turn she asks. But will never accept a mutual open borders. And once again, barbarians firing at this trireme. This trireme is almost dead now, but there's not a lot I can do about that. Unit promotion to the trireme, so let's give it the instant heal and let's get it carrying on its merry way. It's kind of got stuck now, so it's going to move back past those archers and get itself destroyed. Hamburg. Okay, we should go for the National College. Must have a library built in all cities. I thought we had that before. What did we build instead? Oh, it says finished National College. Ah, that's why. Because we just captured an extra city, it bumped it back out of the queue. Because you have to have a library in every city. And there wasn't a library in Tokyo. Because when you're raising a city, it does count as the city being captured. But Tokyo's now gone, so we no longer have that problem. Okay, you guys have finished that. I think we just carry on building trading posts, to be honest. You guys can move back up here just in case there's any threat from those guys. You guys can sit there and heal. This workboat is going to continue its original plan, which was to try and get to here. 5 turns. Let's just wait for the boat to do its animation because it's a bit of a pain. Now then, what do I do with these catapults? They are costing me money per turn, and I could upgrade them to trebuchets. The problem is, even if I pay to upgrade them to trebuchets, I'm probably not going to end up using them, and I think the best thing for me to do with them, because they're in my territory, is just delete them. I get 18 gold for it. This one I will only get 15 gold because it is damaged. I could let it heal up for another turn or 2, but that's just going to cost me 2 or 3 gold while it heals up, so I might as well just instantly delete it. So there we go. I've now gone from 11 gold per turn up to 15 gold per turn because I'm no longer paying the unit maintenance for them. We can have another trade route, which we should do. Japan probably isn't going to go to peace with us. He's going to be pretty upset, really. No, he's not going to go for peace. I didn't expect him to. But it's always worth checking because this game does surprise you from time to time. So we'll just do this last turn, and that will definitely be it for this video now because it's run on for far too long. The Sistine Chapel is almost complete and should be complete at the end of this turn, unless somebody else beats me to it. These settlers now are probably completely redundant. I'm probably not going to use them at all now, unless I find a really amazing spot on the map that hasn't been used. So there we go, plus 25% culture in all cities and 2 slots for great works of art. Absolutely brilliant. What are we going to build now in Berlin? A workshop would give us an extra engineer slot, and it would give us additional 10% production, which would be really nice. The Musicians Guild would also be good. Well, let us start building some of these things to increase the speed at which this city grows. I'm going to build an aqueduct. As you can see, admittedly, the city is currently on production focus. Let's put it on normal, because it's still only 3 turns for the aqueduct. 25 turns until the city next grows. Now, the way that the aqueducts work, you see this little green bar? This is how far the excess food has to fill for the population to grow. And what the aqueduct basically means is whenever you get a new citizen, 40% of the amount of food that was in this green bar gets added on to the next citizen. So it doesn't take as long for the city to grow, which is what it basically means. You're going to carry on and try and get yourself out there. Yep, you're far enough away not to get shot by them. We can see that the Songhai here have a settler. Not sure what they're planning to do with it. This is their capital, of course. They're second from bottom in the score, and it does appear that they're having a lot of trouble with these barbarians, so that's not going to be particularly good for them. It is recommending I construct lumber mills for the production, but yeah, I don't get the gold advantage on this tile, so I think what I'm actually going to do is go... Actually, no, just having a count. Yeah. 1, 2, 3. It's within 3 tiles of Hamburg, so they will be able to work the tile. But it's 4 tiles away from Berlin. If it was closer to Berlin, I would have actually got 2 gold from the trading post. Or at least I should have done. Not sure how it works some of these out. Or maybe I'm getting confused with something. But that's pretty much all I can do for that turn. We have gotten rid of Tokyo, which is what we really needed to do, because it was just blocking me and making life difficult. A few random bits of land. There's still some ruins around that we could potentially get some units down to. I mean, let's try and get some of these guys down, because you never know. Sometimes you end up with a free promotion. Sometimes you end up with money, culture boost, extra population. It's all good stuff. Still got my sights set on Grand River, because again, this is in a bit of a spot that I would like just to kind of join everywhere up, but one thing I did want to quickly check on the cultural victory is China. Yeah, China does have a... China has technically the second highest tourism. I know they've got the same as the Songhai, but the Songhai is so close to the bottom of the scoreboard, they might as well just give up and go home now. I think that's why China's constantly trying to get me to open my borders. It may well be that they are attempting to get a cultural victory. So, there you go, we've progressed a little bit further. We've managed to get a couple of wonders built. We've expanded our empire. We've dealt with the Japanese for a second time, who are encroaching on my territory. And so far, all has gone well. I don't think I've actually lost a single unit yet. So, thanks a lot for watching, guys, and I hope you are still enjoying the series. And I will see you next time. So, until then, goodbye for now.